We've all seen it. People recommending this product or that product. You just have to have it.
Everything's a must-have. You can find a bazillion lists of RV things you must have.
And your life just won't be the same without them. But that's not necessarily true. A lot of times these people are sponsored, being paid, or being sent the product free of charge so that they will give a good review. And today we want to talk about 7 things that we've seen a lot of people recommend highly that you don't really need. And we're going to offer you the alternatives to those things that are much, much cheaper.
RVLife and van life are the big, they've been glamorized on YouTube and Instagram, and it's just this glorious thing that seems like is unattainable for a lot of regular people.
Buy an RV, see the world.
That it's so expensive that you have to have this, that, and the other. And we'd like to tell you some things you can get if you're not one of those, what they call them, trust fund babies. If you're not in that well-off, well-to-do group, you can substitute the things we're talking about for the so-called must-haves.
And that last one on the list is going to be a little controversial because so many people have said that you absolutely must have it. But let's start off our list. At number 7, black tank treatments. We did kind of a whole video talking about this, and we don't use any of the black tank treatments, the orange pods, Commando, which is available at Walmart, all of these little pods that you add to your black tank, or the powder, Happy Camper.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't need them. I'm not going to get into the whole chemical breakdown thing and, you know, all of that. But the very, very simple formula that a company called Clean Tank offers, free of charge, on their website, there'll be a link below, is what we use. And it keeps the odors down, and we haven't had any problems whatsoever. And I've been using this for probably over a year now.
And we tried all the other things, and some of them worked pretty well, some of them didn't work at all. But this is the one thing that has worked consistently for us, to have no smell. I haven't smelled any unpleasant things coming from the bathroom since we started using this.
And a little while ago, when Cindy's daughter visited, I actually asked her, when you walk in to the RV, tell us if you smell anything. Because, hey, we could have gone nose blind to it.
Yeah.
And she absolutely smelled nothing.
Like anything that gets popular, you're going to have people trying to make money off of it. Hey, it's the United States. It's all about the money. But some things you don't really have to have, and one of those things is RV memberships. There are so many different kinds, and it's very smart to stop and think about, what do I really need? Because you can get sucked into, oh, this sounds cool, this sounds nice, this would be a great place to stay, or, oh, if we did that, we wouldn't have to pay every time we stop overnight, and all those kinds of things. But they might really not be suited to your lifestyle. So you don't have to have any kind of RV memberships. You don't have to be in Escapees. You don't have to be in this, that, and the other. What's the other one? Thousand Trails. The one that's overnight in like farms and Harvest Host. They all sound great, and they probably work for some people. But you don't necessarily have to have all those things to have a very nice, comfortable, adventurous RV life.
Absolute fact.
And the next thing is RV-specific toilet paper. They actually sell toilet paper that is labeled RV toilet paper.
RV and marine toilet paper.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And You can get that at Walmart. You can get that at Camping World. You can get that a lot of places. And why can you get that at a lot of places? Because they're charging about 4 times what you would pay for, like, even the cheapest toilet paper.
And it's not necessary. We saw somebody with some in their cart the other day at Walmart, and was like, oh, should we say something? Should we not?
What you need to use is septic safe toilet paper. We use Angel Soft. And disclaimer here, one time we had a clog in this RV, one time, and it was because we were using Cottonelle toilet paper, which doesn't break down in water. Do a simple test. Take a couple of sheets of the toilet paper, let it sit in water, shake it a little bit, check it. If it breaks apart, you're all set. You do not need RV toilet paper. You do not need to have a little separate garbage can where you put your toilet paper in, which...
It's perfectly fine to put your toilet paper down the toilet.
Exactly.
We've been doing it for 5 years.
Some people will tell you that you have to have this big fancy water filtering system in order to be able to use your water in your RV. And that is absolutely untrue. The inline water filters that you can get from Camco, there's a Walmart brand that's available, although I've heard that they're not as good as the Camco ones, are just as good. They work fine. We use a pure water filter pitcher
For our drinking water.
for our drinking water. But other than that, just having that to wash your dishes, take your showers, you'll be fine. Almost everyone I've seen has said, if you're going to be working on your black tank, which we all are, you got to have a box of disposable rubber gloves. Again, no you don't. First of all, that's going to get pricey after a while. Second of all, go to Harbor Freight, get yourself those big, thick rubber gloves. They come up to about here, which is what we have, and use those. They're much cheaper in the long run.
Yeah.
And when you're done, rinse them off under a hose. If you want, use some antibacterial soap on them, and they're ready for your next use.
One thing I've never really understood the hype about, and you see it everywhere, is these snap pads that supposedly snap on your levelers to be the foundation for where your levelers hit the ground. And I've seen all kinds of things about how great they are, how wonderful they are. You got to have them. And then you'll see they fell off on the highway, or I couldn't get them on at all because they were too tight. And put dishwashing soap around the edge and it'll snap on there. I personally don't see the need for it, but
Also, they add inches to the bottom of your leveling jacks when you're driving, when they're retracted. So it could actually make it a little more difficult to go into things like driveways and, anything on an angle. I don't understand the need for them, and as Cindy pointed out, there have been cases where they fell off while they were driving down the highway. Just get yourself the regular old yellow leveling pads. That's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing. And quite honestly, our leveling system would be exactly what they recommend snap pads for.
yeah.
And we don't need them. I bring down the jacks on one of those little bricks or Lego blocks, whatever you want to call them, and we're fine. And we don't have any of those potential issues when we're driving, and we didn't spend all that money. Last, and certainly not least, and certainly most controversial, is a TPMS system. Everybody says you cannot live in an RV without it. You can't even drive an RV without it. And that is absolutely false.
For the newbies, what is the TPMS stand for?
Tire pressure monitoring system. Is it something that's kind of convenient to have? I guess. But how many of you have it in your car and the thing went bad? It happens all the time. And this is the same technology.
In my car, if it's cold in the morning when I get ready to go to work, I go in at 6 or 6:30. If it's cold, it will tell me all of my tires are low. And they're not, because by the time it gets warmer during the day, it's not saying they're low, and I haven't done anything to them.
And they're expensive. I've actually seen them listed online for between $50, which probably would last about 50 minutes, all the way up to $750.
Yikes.
And they're not necessary. Bottom line, get yourself a decent tire pressure gauge, probably about $20, and check your tires before you move your RV every single time. I highly recommend this inflator. I've had it now for a good 8 months, and it filled up my RV tires, it's filled up our bike tires, it's filled up our car tires, and it has a built-in tire pressure monitor.
And we've tried several different inflators.
Yeah, oh, a lot of different inflators.
Some were just massive fails. They didn't even work.
I mean, we had one that I bought from, I think it was AutoZone or something, and I hooked it up to the RV, and it died about 30 seconds to a minute into trying to inflate these tires to 80 pounds. This one, no problems, and I highly recommend it. Everything that we recommend in this video will be linked below. We are Amazon affiliates, so anything that you buy through the links below, you're not going to pay any more for, but we get this little tiny, minuscule commission. But yeah, you don't need a TPMS. If every time you stop at a rest stop or a gas station, you check your tires, check your hubs, make sure they're not overheating, you are going to be absolutely fine. You don't need some unreliable tire pressure monitor to tell you that your tires are going flat.
It's just more anxiety that you don't need.
Exactly. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe. And next week, we are going to talk about 5 years of being full-time RVers.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you next week.